Okay, for number 7, it says A and B run around a course starting from some point, but they go in opposite directions. It says A reaches the starting point 4 minutes and B 9 minutes after they have met on the road, all right, or the course. If they continue to run at the same rates, in how many minutes will they meet at the starting point? And to me, it's word soup at this point. So what I want to do is kind of visualize what they just said. Right. Let me just draw a picture. I'm going to draw a simple picture. I'm going to draw like what I consider to be a loop. And this is going to be the starting position. I'm going to say A goes in this direction and B goes in this direction. Now I'm going to claim they meet somewhere. I'm going to say they meet here. All right, so let's go back and read it. And I'm going to make the loop equal to 1. I don't know what 1 is. Could be 1 mile. Could be 1 kilometer. I just don't know what it is. They don't even say it, right? I don't have to know that at this point. So let me go back and read it to you again. It says A and B run around a course. This is my course I'm looking at visually, starting from the same point in opposite directions. I see that. A reaches the starting points 4 minutes and B 5 minutes after they met. All right, let's talk about this now. I'm going to say this distance here is x. And that means this distance over here would have to be 1 minus x, because the entire loop is 1 unit, whatever that is, by the way. So let's talk about, going back to this thing that we'll talk about A first. All right, what I want to write down is what A's rate's going to be. So what A does, he covers a distance of x. I don't know his rate. I'll say it's the rate of A. And again, going back to that, it says A takes 4 minutes to do it. So A's rate will be x over 4 equals A's rate. Now let's talk about B. B has to cover a distance of 1 minus x. I don't know his rate, by the way. But what I do know, it takes him 9 minutes to get back to the start. So the rate of B is 1 minus x over 9. So let's repeat this. A is going around the course, B is going to the course. They start at the same time. They meet over here. And A took 4 minutes to get back. He has to cover a distance of x. And B took 9 minutes to get back, and he has to cover a distance of 1 minus x. The picture doesn't have to be terribly accurate. I just got to understand what they're talking about at this point. So what I want to do is talk about, I guess I got to write something down now, right? Because this isn't sufficient to answer the question. And let me take a look what I could do now. And I'm going to say, I guess I should write this down. Something about time, right? So I'm going to write down, that A does something. He covers 1 minus x at his rate, which is x over 4, times time, right? By the way, time is the time it takes them to meet. So they meet at time t. This is when they first met, by the way. And B would have to cover x at a rate of 1 minus x over 9 times t. So I don't want t, by the way. I want to get these equal. I'm trying to figure out x, by the way. So I'm going to say 4 times 1 minus x over x would equal t. And over here I get 9x over 1 minus x would equal t. And t equals t, by the way. So let's write this down. 4, 1 minus x over x, same thing as 9x over 1 minus x. Well, I got to do something, right? So 4, 1 minus x squared, 9x squared, 4, 1 minus 2x plus x squared is 9x squared. 4 minus 8x plus 4x squared equals 9x squared. Let me see if I can do that. I know it's quadratic, right? So what do you get over here? 5x squared, I hope nice easy numbers, by the way, plus 8x minus 4. Let me see if I did that right. Yeah, it looks okay. Let's see if they can factor it. You may wonder what x is. We'll get back to that in a moment, by the way. And I'm going to say, looking at that, looks like 2 and 2. Looks like plus minus. Let me see if that's true, by the way. You get 5x squared. 10 minus 2 is 8. Yeah, it looks great. So what do you get? You get two numbers. You get x equals, this would be 2/5, or x equals minus 2. I want to go back over here just at a picture, and I realize it can't be minus 2, right? Because I'm looking at that picture. X is a distance, so this doesn't make any sense over here. So I have an understanding about what x is now. X is 2/5. So I want to go back, and I want to get to rates over here. And I'll write this over here. So it's going to be, the rate of A is 1/4 times whatever x is, and I found x to be 2/5, right? And what does it give me? It gives me 1/10. We'll talk about the meaning of that in a moment, by the way. I want to put this down, and RB, that's the rate of B, by the way, is going to be 1/9. And then I'm going to do, 1 minus 2/5, and that's going to be 3/5. Put this over here. That gives me 1/15. Let me just make sure that's true. So 3 goes on 3 times 3. Yeah, okay. Let's write this down. The rate of A, he does one loop every 10 minutes. And the rate of B, he does one loop every 15 minutes. Right, that's not their question, by the way, but it helps me, all right? Certainly, I know A is faster than B, all right? I know A is faster than B. So what was our question now? Let's go back and read it. I'm going to look at it myself, by the way. And it says over here, A and B run around the course, starting from the same point in opposite directions. A reaches the starting point 4 minutes, and B 9 minutes after they met in the course. I understand that part. If they continue to run at the same rates, in how many minutes will they meet at the starting point? But I need to understand what that means, by the way. And certainly I'm looking at this over here, and this guy's going to meet back at, like every 10 minutes, he's going to come back to the same position. So 10 minutes later, this guy would be one loop. But the other guy, 10 minutes later, is not there yet. He needs 15 minutes. So I'm wondering what the least common multiple that they would meet. So I'm going to say not at 20 minutes. The reason being, at 20 minutes, RA would be back at the home position, but RB wouldn't be there. So let's put 30 minutes down. So at 30 minutes, RA is back home, right? And he's done 3 loops. RB is back home, and he's done 2 loops, 30 minutes. Let me go back to the question, make sure that's what they asked for, and how many minutes will they be at the starting point in 30 minutes, and we're done. Thank you.